Imagine, if you will, a world draped in the rich, heavy tapestry of myth. Every rustle of the leaves is the whisper of a dryad, every crash of a wave the whim of Poseidon, every flash of lightning a fit of pique from Zeus himself, perched grumpily atop Mount Olympus. For millennia, this was the accepted explanation for, well, everything. It's a rather beautiful and poetic way to see the world, isn't it? But it isn't terribly useful if you want to know why your olive crop has failed or how to build a sturdier bridge. Then something extraordinary happened. On the sun-drenched shores of the Aegean Sea, a handful of remarkable individuals began to tug at the threads of that tapestry, asking a question as simple as it was revolutionary. But what if there's another reason? This wasn't just a minor shift in thinking. It was an intellectual earthquake. It was the moment humanity decided to turn from received stories to observable facts, from divine whims to discernible patterns. These thinkers began a relay race of ideas, passing the baton of inquiry from one generation to the next. Each one added a new tool to our collective mental toolkit, a new lens through which to view reality. Our story begins around 600 BCE in the bustling Ionian port of Miletus, a crossroads of trade and ideas. Here lived a man named Thales, a figure shrouded in a delightful mix of history and legend, reputedly an engineer and astronomer, a canny businessman. One story has him cornering the market on olive presses after predicting a bumper harvest. Thales was, above all, a supreme rationalist. In a world content with gods and monsters, he committed the audacious act of looking for a natural, unified explanation for the dizzying variety of the world. He gazed upon the solid earth, the flowing rivers, the ephemeral mist, and asked, "What is all this stuff made of?" His answer seems charmingly simple. Everything, Alberstein, he proposed, is ultimately made of water. Water can be liquid. It can turn to solid ice, and it can become vapor. It falls as rain, nourishes life, and surrounds the land masses. But the genius of Thales wasn't in the specific answer. We now know it's atoms, but in the type of answer he sought. About a century after Thales got the ball rolling, another extraordinary mind emerged from the island of Samos. His name was Pythagoras. For him, ultimate reality wasn't a physical substance like water, but something more abstract: number. He and his followers formed a secretive brotherhood living by strict ascetic rules, including a ban on eating beans. They believed numbers were not just tools for counting, but the very language of the cosmos. The universe was a beautifully ordered cosmos, structured by numerical ratios. The legend of Pythagoras in the blacksmith's shop, harmonious chime hammers with weights in simple whole number ratios. The beauty of music could be explained by mathematics. Everything where the orbits of the planets, the music of the spheres, and even principles of justice, where we're governed by elegant numerical relationships. In a right-angled triangle, the square of the hypotenuse equals the sum of the squares of the other two sides, a perfect eternal relationship hidden in a simple shape, a hidden rational order beneath our senses. When a physicist today scrawls an equation, they are walking in Pythagoras's footsteps. He taught us to look beyond appearances and trust that the universe hums with mathematical harmony. As philosophers were gazing at the heavens and pondering the nature of reality, another crucial intellectual shift was happening down on Earth, the realm of human affairs. When in the 5th century BCE, two figures emerged: Herodotus, Hippocrates. Herodotus of Halicarnassus is often dubbed the father of history, and for good reason. Before him, tales of the past were epic poems and legends, divine meddling. Herodotus, a systematic historia or inquiry into the causes of the Persian Wars. He traveled widely, collecting stories, interviewing witnesses, examining records. He wasn't always a stickler by modern standards, but his mission was revolutionary: human causes for events. He writes so that human achievements may not be forgotten. On the island of Kos, Hippocrates performed a similar operation on healing. Illness was seen as divine punishment. He argued diseases were natural processes to be studied with careful observation, meticulously record symptoms, breathing, temperature, bodily fluids, diet, and predict the course, prognosis. The Hippocratic Oath pledged to do no harm, medicine as a moral calling. This combination of rigorous observation and compassionate ethics is his enduring legacy. He gave us a method for healing the body, and Herodotus a method for understanding humanity, causes here on earth. Section 5, the gadfly and his pupil, Socrates and Plato's quest for the ideal. If the thinkers before him had begun to ask what and how, it was a famously ugly man with a brilliant mind who began to relentlessly ask why. We enter Athens and meet Socrates, the so-called gadfly of the state. He wrote nothing. We know him through Plato. His laboratory was the Athenian agora. His method was conversation. You say you are just. What is justice? You claim to be courageous. What is courage? Through relentless cross-examination, he showed the confident often knew very little. Annoying the powerful led to his trial and execution in 399 BCE, but his mission was noble. The unexamined life is not worth living. Plato took Socrates' quest and built a system. Our world is a shadow play. True reality is the world of perfect ideas, the theory of forms. There is a perfect form of the circle, beauty, and the good. In the Republic, he envisioned philosopher kings to rule with true justice. Section 6, the master of those who know, Aristotle's empirical empire. If Plato looked up to perfect forms, Aristotle planted his feet and looked intently at the world. After 20 years at the academy, he took a different path. Plato was a mathematician. Plato was a mystic. Aristotle was a biologist. Aristotle was a logician. He cared about the intricate, messy details of this world. Reality is here in substances we can see, touch, and study. He wrote on logic, physics, biology, zoology, ethics, politics, rhetoric, poetry, you name it. He founded the Lyceum. Walking and talking earned them the name Peripatetics. His method was empirical. Knowledge begins with observation. He dissected animals, cataloged plants, collected data. His genius to classify, organize, and systematize. He codified valid reasoning, syllogisms to separate sound arguments from fallacies. In ethics, the goal is eudaimonia, happiness or flourishing, achieved by virtuous habits and the golden mean between excess and deficiency. In politics, he analyzed real government strengths and weaknesses. His biology stood unsurpassed for centuries. He gave us categories, methods, vocabulary, the toolkit to think about everything. Section 7, the language of logic, Euclid and Archimedes, architects of reality. As gravity shifted to Alexandria, the project grew focused and specialized. Here, two formidable mathematical minds built enduring structures of logic. Euclid's Elements, arguably the most influential textbook ever written. He began with a few self-evident definitions, postulates, and common notions. From simple starts, like drawing a straight line between any 2 points, he proved hundreds of propositions, each building on the last, an unshakable edifice of deductive truth. Accept the axioms, accept the conclusions, no room for opinion. This method shaped philosophy and physics, Spinoza, Newton, and beyond. Then Archimedes, mathematician, physicist, engineer. He refined pi, measured areas and volumes with ingenious geometry. Give me a place to stand, a mechanical advantage. Pulleys, screws still in use. Eureka. Density links weight and volume. Test a golden crown. He bridged pure ideas and tangible things. The architect of our physical reality. Section 8, the art of living. Stoics, Epicureans, and the pursuit of a good life. With old certainties fading, two schools offered peace of mind. First, Epicurus, teaching in a tranquil garden, not indulgence. Ataraxia, serene, untroubled calm. Dispel fear of gods and death. When we are, death is not. When death is come, we are not. Withdraw from stress, cultivate friendships, satisfy simple natural desires. The Stoics taught on the painted porch. They urged life in accordance with a rational, ordered whole, logos. Distinguish what we can control, our judgments from what we cannot. We cannot control sickness, misfortune, others, but we can govern our response. It's not things that upset us, but our judgment about things, self-control, duty, acceptance as virtues that forge resilience. Both schools still resonate. Simple, sustainable joy and inner steadiness in a chaotic world. Section 9, the ever-burning flame, the legacy of Greek thought today. And so our brief tour comes to a close. We have journeyed from Thales' watery world to the serene gardens of Epicurus, meeting minds that altered human history. They disagreed, argued, and refined each other's ideas' power in critical debate. The story of Greek thought is a relay race of reason. Thales opened the door, Pythagoras heard the music, Socrates asked the questions, Plato saw the ideal, and Aristotle organized the world. Why does this ancient timeline matter now, on this Tuesday in November 2025? Because the operating system of the modern West was written in ancient Greek. The scientific method descends from Thales' natural philosophy and Aristotle's observations. Law and politics still wrestle with justice, virtue, and the ideal state questions of Plato and Socrates. Clean logical structures in code and proofs testify to Euclid's method. Doctors who vow to do no harm channel Hippocrates. The influence is personal too. Each time you challenge an assumption, you channel Socrates. When you seek the middle path, you practice an Aristotelian virtue. When you face setbacks by mastering your response, you tap the Stoics. These are living tools for complexity, our mental toolbox, bequeathed over centuries. Their gift wasn't final answers, but powerful questions and belief in our capacity to answer them. They gave us 3 tools: the courage to use reason against dogma, the discipline to verify with logic and evidence, and the wisdom to ask how to live. They stood on the Aegean shores and refused the old stories alone. They decided to build a boat built of curiosity, reason, and care. It's the one we're sailing today. Their final lesson is simple and timeless.